His hands were cuffed, his eyes blank. Michael Pitt, the once beloved heartthrob, was led out of court as fans screamed in disbelief. From indie icon to criminal suspect, Michael Pitt's descent has jolted Hollywood. The charges aren't just serious, they're stomach-churning. With graphic allegations, a courtroom bombshell, and a defense team claiming he's the real victim, this story isn't about guilt or innocence. It's about how fast a star can fall and whether anyone is really who they seem. On May 2nd, the Boardwalk Empire actor was arrested in New York City for multiple counts of sexual abuse and assault tied to a string of disturbing incidents between 2020 and 2021. As details emerge, the line between actor and abuser blurs, forcing his fans and the industry to reckon with a harsh truth hiding behind a familiar face. This isn't just a trial, it's a collapse. From graphic testimony and courtroom posturing to Reddit brawls and legacy destruction, every moment in this case reveals another layer of a man once idolized. And for viewers like you, emotionally invested, deeply reactive, each twist stings harder than the last. Let's begin where the illusion cracked, the moment Michael Pitt was arrested and the image of a heartthrob shattered in handcuffs. The headlines didn't prepare anyone for the details. What emerged wasn't just scandal, it was something far darker. Between April 2020 and August 2021, the allegations against Michael Pitt trace a disturbing pattern of escalating violence. According to the indictment, 4 separate incidents with his then-girlfriend involved not only sexual abuse, but physical assault using objects as grotesque as a wooden plank, and in one case, a cinder block. Fans who once idolized his brooding presence in Boardwalk Empire now found themselves reading words like blunt force trauma and forced penetration alongside his name. Each accusation is anchored in graphic detail. The second incident, dated July 2020, reportedly left the victim with visible bruises and required hospital care, though no charges were filed at the time. These weren't isolated misunderstandings or fuzzy gray areas. The court documents describe intentional harm, repetition, and concealment. Pitt, once praised for his intensity on screen, now finds that same intensity weaponized in public opinion. The contrast is jarring, and it's intentional. As fans scroll through the report, disbelief turns to disgust. Reddit threads recount past interviews where Pitt spoke cryptically about control and isolation, with users now connecting dots they once ignored. On X, posts quoting the court's language spread like wildfire. One comment summed it up: "This isn't just disappointing, it's monstrous." Fans erupt, not in defense, but in moral revulsion. And then came the most horrifying claim. Pitt allegedly struck her while she was unconscious. The public was reeling, but Pitt's legal team was already preparing their counterstrike. In the next chapter, we'll enter the courtroom where denial meets spin and innocence is framed like a script. Just days after the graphic allegations went public, Michael Pitt appeared in court, stoic, silent, and defiant. On May 6th, inside Brooklyn Supreme Court, Michael Pitt stood before a judge and pleaded not guilty. His attorney, Carrie London, didn't waste time crafting a narrative of reversal. Calling the accuser an unhinged individual, the defense painted Pitt not as a predator, but as the true victim. The courtroom, already tense, shifted. This wasn't just a legal strategy, it was a performance, one aimed squarely at the cameras. The press seized on the quote. Entertainment sites recycled it as headlines. Reddit lit up again, but this time with a split tone. Some users wondered aloud whether the media had moved too fast, too emotionally. Could the allegations be exaggerated? Could this be another career destroyed by trial by Twitter? For Pitt's fan base, the plea created doubt, not relief, just hesitation. Meanwhile, behind closed doors, his legal team moved fast. Bail was posted, $100,000. Pitt left through a side entrance, avoiding paparazzi, but not the internet. His defense had been launched, and whether you believed it or not, didn't matter. The narrative was now two-sided, and that was all they needed. If Pitt couldn't be proven innocent, he could at least be made uncertain, and the timing of it all, chillingly precise, just hours before media outlets were about to release more disturbing claims. But while the legal theater played out in court, a different trial was unfolding online. Up next, the digital war, Reddit versus TMZ, and the fans caught in the crossfire. While Pitt's legal team crafted a careful defense, the internet had already delivered its verdict, and it wasn't unanimous. The courtroom was one battleground, but the real war was happening online. Reddit lit up with threads dissecting Michael Pitt's past behavior, pulling clips from interviews, blurry fan encounters, even behind-the-scenes gossip that once seemed harmless. In subreddits like r Bushwick and r Pop Culture Detectives, users debated not just the case, but the character. Meanwhile, TMZ's posts surged across X with headlines engineered for outrage. One tweet linking directly to court documents racked up over 51,000 views in 12 hours. Beneath it, a battlefield of replies, some defending Pitt, most tearing into him. Commenters quoted the phrase, "cinderblock assault," like it was a meme. Fan edits that once celebrated his damaged genius now turned him into a walking red flag. Even past co-stars weren't safe, some dragged into speculation simply for having worked with him. But it wasn't all condemnation. A vocal minority argued that the media had gone too far too fast. They pointed to Johnny Depp, to others falsely accused. What happened to due process? One post read with hundreds of upvotes. It was no longer about facts, it was about factions. And in the middle of it all, Pitt's silence. Then came a viral theory. Pitt's past film roles had predicted his downfall, and fans began decoding his entire career through a criminal lens. And as his name trended for all the wrong reasons, one question gained traction. Was his entire Hollywood image just a mask? In the next chapter, we peel back the legacy. Before the mugshot, before the courtroom, Michael Pitt was indie royalty. But now, every frame of his career looks like foreshadowing. For nearly 2 decades, Michael Pitt carved out a reputation as Hollywood's most intense outsider. In Boardwalk Empire, he was magnetic and unhinged. In films like Last Days and The Dreamers, he blurred the line between beauty and decay. That was the appeal. His characters weren't safe. They were broken, little seductive. Now, those same performances feel prophetic. The internet didn't just cancel him, it rewrote him. Clips once admired for their emotional depth were recut with courtroom headlines. TikTok edits turned his filmography into a breadcrumb trail of warning signs. He wasn't acting, one viral comment said. He was showing us who he really was. Whether fair or not, the perception spread fast. Michael Pitt didn't fall from grace. He revealed what was always there. And it wasn't just fans turning. Directors distanced themselves. Streaming platforms quietly removed titles from homepages. Interviews disappeared from search results. Pitt's legacy wasn't being debated. It was being erased in real time. What once made him iconic now made him incriminating. And for a generation that once idolized him, it felt personal, like betrayal wrapped in nostalgia. But amid the silence, one final question remained. Was this the end or just the exile before the reinvention? In our final chapter, we explore the aftermath, the vanishing act, the public reckoning, and whether Michael Pitt will ever be seen or forgiven again. No apology, no statement, just a quiet exit and a silence that speaks louder than any headline. Since posting bail, Michael Pitt has disappeared from public view. No Instagram statement, no exclusive interview, not even a paparazzi shot. For someone once known for his unpredictable energy, the stillness is jarring. Hollywood may be addicted to redemption arcs, but this time, no one's writing one. Not yet. The industry response has been clinical. Agencies severed ties. Upcoming roles vanished. Pitt's name, once spoken with reverence in indie circles, now elicits winces. His Wikipedia page reads like a memorial, part resume, part criminal file. And for his fans, there's nothing to cling to. No healing journey, no public remorse, just absence. But absence can be strategic. We've seen it before, quiet disappearances followed by sudden comebacks. A documentary, a podcast confession, a surprise cameo in a streaming series. Could Pitt follow that playbook? Maybe. But unlike others, his story isn't just one of personal failure. It's been stained by violence. That changes everything. And with every day that passes, the silence feels less like a pause and more like a final scene. Whether this is exile or extinction, one thing is certain. The myth of Michael Pitt has been shattered, and what's left behind may never be welcome in the spotlight again. Some stories don't end with closure, just consequence. Michael Pitt's fall wasn't sudden. It was a slow unraveling finally caught in the light. For longtime fans, this saga is more than disappointment, it's disillusionment. And for Hollywood, it's another reminder that talent doesn't excuse the truth. But now we want to hear from you. Do you believe Michael Pitt's silence is strategy or surrender? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. If this story hit you hard, make sure to like, subscribe, and tap the bell so you never miss the next unraveling headline. Because in the world of celebrity, truth always leaks.